This is Femi Kuti, and you are listening to NYC Radio Live.
All right, folks, how are you doing? It's been a little while, but I hope this will be worth the wait. I had a great conversation with Bakithi Kumalo. He is the man behind some of the most iconic bass lines that are inside your brain. If you know the album Graceland, that's Bakithi. Those incredible bass lines. So I'd like to share our conversation, but first let's hear a track. And I want you to know that I'm working for you. I had trouble downloading this track and spent about a half an hour finding different hacks. Recording from the video into a separate recording device, because I love this track of his. It's called Africa, and then we'll sit down and have a chat with Bakithi Kumalo. Thanks for listening. Peace.
Yes. The jungle of Africa. Umangi Hamba.
You're listening to NYC Radio Live. I'm backstage, you could say, with Bakithi Kumalo, all the way from South Africa. Great to be with you.
Thank you. Good to be with you, Dave.
So, maybe can you tell me a little bit about how do you describe your music in the when people want to know what kind of music you play?
Well, first of all, I'm a South African bassist, but my music is a combination of uh, all different types of music, and the people that I work with Hugh Masekela, I work with Miriam Makeba, I work with Josh Groban, I work with Cindy Lauper, I work with Gloria Stefan, I work with Shaka Khan, I work with Herbie Hancock. So my bass style is not just one thing. I have that as a South African bass line, but most is just it's open for So my music, it's a combination of everything, pretty much.
Okay, there is something definitely extremely unique about South African music and maybe even South African bass. I wonder if you could put it into words. What makes it kind of unique in it?
Well, South African music is very simple. It's 1/4/5 or 1/4/1/5. But the bass is a big part of South African music. It's what gets people dancing. And it's got to be simple and strong enough for the people to get going. And the bass is the heart of the music of South Africa. And I'm so glad that I play the bass because of that.
And it's we were talking beforehand about how I had this one of my lucky interviews was to speak with Hugh Masekela, and I was very interested in asking him about the role that music played in the battle against apartheid and just in South Africa in general. It seems like music is really ingrained in the culture and everything that happens. But I'd like to hear your perspective on that.
Well, the music was a really big part of South Africa because during the struggles, people, they used to sing songs and just to sing the songs to comfort themselves and not really worry about what was going on, and just sing songs and get together and just sing beautiful songs. And when you listen to the lyrics of the songs, they're talking about, peace, why this is happening, and but music it's a big part of South African living. I grew up in a musical family. My uncle was a saxophone player. My mother was a church singer. My father played guitar and piano. So I just grew up knowing that. I never been to school. I schooled myself with the bass. Once I got the bass in my hands, and I said, "That's it." I was supposed to do this.
Well, what I was asking, I've heard that bands like Dudu Pukwana and Abdullah Ibrahim and definitely Miriam Makeba, that music was part of a struggle.
Yeah, it was a part of struggle because that was the way that they can tell the people about our struggles. And then the songs that they play, it's struggle songs. Even though it was a jazz, Abdullah Ibrahim, a jazz pianist, Dudu Pukwane and Jonas Gwangwa and Hugh Masekela. And then also at the same time, they just keep people together to say, look, we're struggling, but it doesn't mean that life ends. It just begins, with you're singing and dancing, and they made up music. Now it's a whole different thing because of the younger generation that they never went through what we went through as, the older musicians. So the younger generation, for them, it's what they see on YouTube and forget about what happened in the past. For an example, my son is a DJ. He has no idea what happened. And sometimes it's really hard to explain to them because they're like younger generation, but it's a whole different time for them.
And so I see that you've won four Grammy Awards.
I won a couple of Grammys, playing with these people. The first one was with the Graceland, Paul Simon, and Paul Winters, who's Irish saxophone player, and then one with Herbie Hancock, jazz pianist, and then one with Randy Brecker, the Brecker brothers.
So, that brings up a lot of questions. One, there's been a movie. I actually haven't seen it yet, but I know that there's a lot of tension during the recording of Graceland because some people thought there was a kind of ban on music, right? Maybe you could explain those dynamics and
Yeah, there was something that we didn't understand as a musician. I mean, I was a kid. I think I was about 28. I was young, and I didn't understand. But somebody like Paul came with the opportunity for us as musicians, so we took chances. Because really musicians needed to be heard. To get out and do what they do. But Paul Simon just made it happen because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't him. And then also too, I just thought for myself. I really didn't think for anybody else because at the end of the day, I'm the one who's playing the bass, who's going to be struggling if I didn't take that opportunity. I wouldn't be here. But I took chances because this man is a musician. He loved our music. I didn't see why he had so much problem with people. They say he came to steal the music. He took an advantage of South African struggle. But he loved the music. He loved the music. Somebody sent him the music and say, hey, check out this music. And he says, I love this music. I'm going to go to South Africa. And it was amazing. I mean, like all the years I've been going to the studios in South Africa, I never got paid so well, For the first time, I mean, like I was even scared to go to the bank because I'm going to have a problem. Like, why you got the $5,000 check? In one day, you just play the bass, you get $5,000 check. The bank, they start calling the cops like, hey, look, check this guy out. As soon as I told them that this was Paul Simon's money, gave me, then they respected that.
Wow. And did you get to do any of the touring or play?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like when the Graceland came out, we played in Zimbabwe in 1989, and then I went all over the world. Still today, I still play bass for Paul. Yeah, we're about to go on tour now in the next 2 months.
Okay. So, yeah. So Jamie Haddad. That's probably how you got involved with Paul Winter.
He's like a god of percussion. I mean, like this guy, I can ask him if I don't understand the rhythm. I said, "What is this rhythm?" He says, "Takata, takata, takata." Oh, it's 5. Like South Africa, we don't count. We don't know what the 5 or 7, 4, 9, 8, 6. We just play the simple groove and then everybody start dancing. But Jamie is a great guy. He's just to play next to him is just such an honor.
Well, that kind of makes me think about more questions about, you're saying that most of the South African popular music was what you're calling 1-4-5 kind of thing. But eventually you did get to work with Randy Breckers and Herbie Hancock. So how are you able to make that transition to start understanding the language of jazz and all this stuff?
I'm the kind of guy who like to take chances. I feel like the sky's the limit, for me. I can go, I just put my focus. I remember when I was approached to do the Randy Brecker record. This guy, Gil Goldstein, he's a producer. He came to my house because we used to live in Brooklyn, like Park Slope, and his apartment was just across the street, my apartment. Then he comes to my house with a brown bag and a little tape. And he said, man, we want to get you to this project. We want you to play the bass on this project. And I was so excited. I was like, sure, yeah. And then he put the tape on. I said, wait a minute. I'm sorry, you want me to play on this? It's like, yeah, we want you to play on this with Bob Mensah, David Sanborn. And he names the name. And I was like, oh, no, I'm sorry, I can't do this. And my wife, she says, look, we're expecting a baby. You don't have a job. So you better do something. So I stay home and I practice. Take one song. Actually, they gave me the music. They gave me the music and the tape for 2 weeks to work on the music. So I just stay home and I work on the music. Then I go to the studio. Everybody's reading. I wasn't reading. I was just playing by ear because I wanted to have a good tone, a good sound, and understand the song. Because when you're reading in the studio, you kind of like really don't know the song. You're just playing through everything. But I spend a lot of time with the songs at home, so I go to the studio, I just play without reading, and then they call me OTB, One Take Bakithi.
All right.
And then about a few months later, I got this call with Herbie Hancock to play like 2 songs, and I was honored.
Nice.
Because I don't want to limit myself like he's an African bass player. I play with everybody. I play with Derek Trucks. I went on tour with Derek Trucks. I went on tour with George Grumman. As long as the music is written, I can play anything. You know, I play with the Irish group, Eileen Ivers. She took me to Ireland. You know, I had no idea what the Irish music, but because it was written and we had to practice, I keep going.
And I was wondering about the South African vocal tradition. Obviously, is so amazing. Maybe untouched. This incredible kind of thing. And I've gotten to interview actually some of the guys from Lady Smith, and I wonder if some of that influence in maybe the emphasis on tone or something or breath, has that worked its way into your music? Is that
It's just a strong vocal. You know, I mean, like these guys, this music, especially the Lady Smith Black Mambazo music, started in the mind back in the day. You know, like where they used to sing and shuffling and digging, and doing all kinds of stuff. So they kind of developed that strong voice. You know, like weekends when they're not working, they will dress up and do like a cappellas and they will be challenging each other. You know, some of the groups and see who comes out strong. Like with the dancing, with the vocal. But it's all about the stuff that was created back then. And then my bass playing too, it came from those vocals because I listened to a lot of a cappella voices to get that fretless double stop sound like human voices on the bass. That's how I got successful on the Graceland.
Okay. So
Vocal.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. So last question. I mean, you've played with so many the top musicians. What for you puts somebody in that league of the great musicians? What do they bring that the okay musicians haven't quite gotten to? What's the difference? What's going on?
Man, it's a lot of thinking and also really understanding the project, the concept. It's a very simple thing. Like people, they call me to play music I've never heard before and never played before. But I come into the studio and I want to be part of the project. I want to learn. I'm a student. Just because I've been playing for years, it doesn't mean that I got it. I'm still learning, and I work with all different types of people and just learning different cultures, jazz, or working with the Zimbabweans or working with the Congo musicians. It's all about really learning and do this together, because we never had that opportunity back then in South Africa. We were so struggled that most South Africans, they don't know any African music. They know what's on the radio, American music, and they don't know about West African music. When I came to this country, to America, then I started to listen to other West African musicians. They freaked me out because, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. But we couldn't get that music in South Africa.
All right. Well, I know you got a busy schedule. You're going to be playing January 21st.
Yeah, just everybody show up. Come see us. We're going to be playing It's a South African All-Stars. And we open the new year. And then before I go on tour, because I'm going on tour with Paul Simon. So for me, this is like about bringing my friends to come and hang out and play for them. So if you can make it, please do so.
All right. Well, Bakithi Kumalo, thanks for your time.
Thank you, David. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. And good luck.